Just a video for you guys today, just in case you think that your situation is terrible. This video might cheer you up and make you feel a little bit better about yourself. So,
Cause I have $30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet.
I don't.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, leave down in the comments what you believe is the average credit card debt in a year. I will let you guys know what that is. Like for the United States, for like a U.S. citizen, what's the average amount of credit card debt per household a year? Leave that down in the comments down below, and I'll let you guys know at the end of the video.
I don't have a job, but I have debt. If you're confused, let me explain. I don't know about you guys, but I literally never learned anything about finances. And I'm guessing I'm not the only one. After me and my husband got married, we decided to start paying off debt so we could have a family. We had about $30,000 worth of credit card debt. At the time, I did have a job that was paying pretty good, but I was extremely unhappy. I hated going to work every single day, but we were making pretty good progress on paying off our card. Everything changed when I got let go last December. I knew I was not going to get another job after this one, and my husband, of course, did not want to pressure me into doing that either. When I lost my job, we had to refigure our entire budget out, and our timelines changed. Not making as big of a progress as we used to. Now I'm able to take care of everything in the house so that he can solely focus on working. Now that I've been able to dedicate my full time to content creation as well, I've been able to see some profits from that. I feel like this is a reality not a lot of people talk about.
This right here, yeah, that changed my life because this is so true. People have so much debt you wouldn't even believe. Like when you really start talking to people, they just casually drop, yeah, you know, I owe like 15 grand.
And that's the problem, bro. Like I said, man. Most of the biggest problem is that people actually really don't have the cash, the liquid cash, to actually get what they need because of inflation, wages staying the same thing. You know, the same old BS. But really, the biggest thing is that people just tend to want to have nicer things than they can actually afford. You know, it's just the instant gratification. At the end of the day, I would argue that credit's actually more important than the amount of cash you have, since most people's lives are financed. Who's buying a car cash? Who's buying a house cash? Who's buying a lot of things cash? Not too many people. So at the end of the day, credit, people associate like good credit and what they can finance is like if they're rich, if that makes sense. Instead of forgetting about the hard, cold cash. But yeah, I mean, credit is definitely important, but it's just too far and it's too encouraged in the United States to have debt. And paying interest it's really eating a lot of people up with the interest, for real, for real.
Dollars? American? Oh, okay. Okay. Like people really just walk around in massive debt to keep up with this life. And you know what even make it worse is that you really got to sit back sometime and realize your mama was right. You know, whole keep up with the Joneses thing? Yeah. Because, you know, your mom used to be like, well, if Stacy was going to jump off a bridge, you going to jump too? And my ass, I graduated college. I started living that life. I'm right behind her. I'm right behind her. And
let's see how many women it is too, because I mean, both men and women definitely have issues with debt, but you know, there's a certain gender that has a higher propensity towards it. So let's
give me a little debt doing that, but you have to realize that, like, oh my God, I feel like I'm turning into my mom. All that glitters isn't gold. It really ain't. It really, really ain't. It really ain't. People got so much debt they don't know what to do with themselves. Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that mindset, because it's so much harder to get out than it is to get in. Oh my gosh, it's like a GPA. It's easier to drop than raise. And a credit score is the same way. But yeah, walking around with massive credit card debt.
If you want to hear something really totally embarrassing for me, I was supposed to have a court date today. Yeah, I ignored a debt collector and they sent it to a law firm to sue me. And yeah, I got sued by a debt collector.
And yeah, I just decided, you know what? All the things I could think of to do after following this event, you know what? What makes the most sense in my mind is just to film a TikTok about it and tell the whole world. Instead, have a smile on my face. Like, you can't make this up, bro. Like, it's getting out of line, man.
I thought the chances of that happening were, like, slim to none. Like, it was only $1,000. Do they really want to, like, have to go after me for $1,000? Like, what is that? No, they did. Yeah. They sent the constable to my house with the papers saying that I need to sort this out. Long story short, I settled for 80% of what I owe, and I paid it all off like 12 days ago. Thankfully, like normally I would not have been able to do this, but my husband...
Yeah, go ahead and cover them rolls. I've seen that. Cover the rolls. Yeah, you got a husband too, and you want, man, let me ever have a wife if I ever decided to take that risk on, which I don't see myself doing, especially through the state. Let me come home and see my wife just in the kitchen filming the TikTok, just talking about all our personal business. That'll be the last time she does that. At least that I see. Let's just keep it a buck. I'm gonna be tripping. I'm gonna be tripping.
Got a
all
race
the
at
way.
work, and it's been great. And yeah, my court date was scheduled for today. Thankfully, that was canceled. But that was like the scariest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I was like, I don't just pay. I'll just pay. I'm like, I don't want to have to go to court. I have anxiety.
Oh, God bless me. God help me. Oh, I think I'm in a high yield savings account, you know, just in case anything happens. And like I said, I already got laid off, so I couldn't just have $1,000 like Dave Ramsey says. Now, I already got rid of my car payment last year, so I'm ready to hit the ground running with the debt snowball method. I pay all my student loans every month on time, but that's not my focus right now. I have a personal loan that I got from my credit union at a 13% interest rate that I used to consolidate 2 credit cards that were over 20% interest. I also have a credit card with that credit union, but my...
All right, hold on. So far, we have 40, we'll say like 12,000 rounding up with the first credit card. So we're at 40 plus 12 plus 16. So that's $68,000. You know, really it's actually a little bit more. Actually, no, it's just around there. We'll say that because we did round up with the 11.8. So that's about $68,000 in credit card debt right now. Damn, that 18% interest rate. God damn. Minimum payment $300. Jeez, you will never pay that shit off just paying a minimum payment too.
Focus right now is my Discover card. They offer me a 0% interest rate.
Jeez. Plus another 8. So we're at $76,000.
For 10 months, so I transferred a balance there for $400. I put $1,500 towards that card so far this month, and my goal is to pay it off before the summer, which I know I can. So I hope you join me along my debt payoff journey. And as I...
Bro, $76,000 in debt.
My relationship with money. We are making progress and cleaning it up because we do not want to be in debt and broke in the long term. I know that's right. So a couple...
Bro, and these people are like... They think it's like kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get this undertone. Like, they think that this shit's kind of cute being in all this debt. Like, it's like it's kind of like a glamorous thing. What? Man, you can't make this shit up, bro.
Months ago, I made a video on here about my credit card debt payoff journey. I've paid off about $20,000 of credit card debt this year, and I haven't really done an update on it or really continued it for a number of reasons. One, and I know a lot of people who have been in debt can relate to this, I hold and harbor a lot of shame related to my debt, and it got to be something that was really hard to talk about because I never felt like my progress was enough. I never felt like... It just feels never ending. It feels suffocating. And I had a couple really expensive months that kind of set me back in the amount I wanted to pay off per month. I haven't been adding to my debt at all, but I haven't really paid off the amount that I was hoping I was going to be able to each month. So that just kind of like, I don't know, it kind of depressed me a little bit. I've seen other creators create series of just like tracking their credit card debt. And like, honestly, I would love to do that, but I just don't know if disclosing the full amount is something I'm ready to do yet. Because like I said, I harbor a lot of shame from my credit card debt, and it's something I'm still working to get over. It's also been a major source of anxiety for the past 7 years of my life. Like, thinking about money gives me anxiety. I don't come from wealth. My first job out of college really set me behind, and I discovered I have bipolar disorder, which creates really bad spending habits, or it can. Especially being untreated for so long, I go into my depressive phases, and like, I get that little high off of going shopping or finding something on sale, even if it's something I didn't really need, and if it's something I didn't have money for. It was just a really bad habit I built. And
you know, and I see why like most ads are like targeted towards women and stuff, because at the end of the day, bro, they're the easiest people to sell to, bro. Click it, like they're the easiest people to sell to by far, especially really all ages, but young women especially. Like, I need to start a new drop shipping store just for like, but it's not that easy though. It's not that easy with beauty products. You really need a lot of credibility. Sorry, side note, but look, if you plan on selling anything, especially like impulse buy items, definitely target it to women because you will definitely get sales. Like, no question.
A lot of it was due to that as well as undiagnosed ADHD. So I'm medicated for both of those now, but it's like getting out of this, like my habits are better now. I don't spend money I don't have, but crawling out of the hole is so hard. I'm like, you can feel free to give me advice, but I've done every tip and trick in the book. I've consolidated my debt and loan. I've opened up balance transferred cars. I've categorize my debt from highest interest to lowest interest, and I'm focusing on paying off the highest interest debt first. And like that has worked for the most part. It's just such a slow moving process, and when you get behind a couple months, it's so hard to just like, I have that anxiety that's in my head again of just like, I don't even want to look at the numbers because what if I'm behind again this month? What happens then? I know I've made a lot of progress, but I still have so much to go, and it's just such a daunting task, especially with the holidays coming up. I really want to start a series to hold myself accountable and like track this in some way. So if you have any creators that have done that, please drop them in the comments. I would love to see them. And if you just have any general support, that would be awesome, because this process really sucks, especially when you have things in your life that you don't want to miss. I don't believe in creating it.
That is not fun, okay? I have so much money on my credit cards. They're all pretty much maxed out. I couldn't keep up with the payments, and I think almost all of them, my accounts are closed. That's not good. But I will tell you this, it's like going through a detox, because things that I would...
And thank you for the content, but why you wouldn't people couldn't waterboard this information out of me, but they're literally online volunteering to expose themselves. Okay.
Just be like, oh, I'll spend on a credit card. I can't do that anymore. Those accounts are closed. Those cards are gone. The only money I have comes from my paycheck, and that money goes towards necessities, which is the big thing that I've had to learn to differentiate the needs from the wants. So all my friends get to go do fun things, I am having to pay off credit card debt. It has taught me to be content with what I already have.
I really hate that. I really hate that shit. So we're gonna skip this chick. Next.
Slowly but surely, I got the jobs I applied for, but the debt wasn't being paid off like I had hoped. We were in a full-blown grind at our corporate careers just to make a minimum payment on our credit cards. I remember feeling suffocated by our bills and looking at the methods many people talked about. No shame to old Dave, but his framework wasn't it for me. I kept thinking, it'll get paid off eventually, but my brain just couldn't compute how. If we didn't make more money, how the hell were we going to put more money towards our debt? Turns out landing in the social media marketing and sales arena in 2018 was part of the framework we needed to pay off that $33,000 in credit cards. I've never looked back. It wasn't something I was qualified to do, but quickly found passion behind it. I love people. I love making a difference. I love using my
What car was that she was driving? It doesn't matter, but it's probably part of the reason why she's in debt.
Creativity and being in control of my income, creating my schedule and having flexibility were a huge plus too. Now being 30 years old with zero credit card debt, I'm thankful I made my own path to having peace around our finances. The way
I guess, yeah. Women kind of look a little different. Like 30-year-old women would kind of look a little different. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, she's 30.
Of 33,000.
I thought she was older than that.
But now we sleep a lot better at night.
Hey y'all, so let's talk debt.
No, she looks about 30.
Specifically credit card debt. Tripping. I am $30,000 in credit card debt.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I know. Let's talk about it. So I have two credit cards. I have a Navy Federal and then another credit card. Navy Federal has $25,000 and the other one has $5,000. And I'm definitely ready to pay those off. So if anybody has any suggestions about how I can quickly pay those off, let me know in the comments. So I recently joined TikTok Shop and the Creator Fund. So I'm hoping to reel in some money from that as well. And whatever I make from that.
Bro, like this is bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. Like you is not about to make no significant amount of money from TikTok Shop. posting these TikToks, bro, you is not about to make no money, bro. See, how about you just go and get a second job? Because at the end of the day, most people aren't capable of doing, and business takes time anyways. You got to give yourself like 6 to like 12 months to really even make any money anyways if you start something new, especially online. You gotta give yourself that time. So just go ahead, lady. If you wanted advice from people, if you stumble across this video, which you probably won't, go get a second job and work on that little TikTok side hustle. But you ain't gonna get there you ain't gonna.
I'm gonna put towards a credit card.
I don't mean to kill dreams.
Expeditiously.
I don't mean to kill dreams.
I racked up all of this debt from shopping, not telling myself.
All right, never mind. Just stay away from TikTok Shop because your ass, instead of getting revenue on TikTok Shop, is going to end up shopping on TikTok Shop. So, skip.
Spending, and it's still not enough. I have extra income coming in from TikTok, so
Oh my
thankfully
God.
everything will.
How much are you making from TikTok? How much are you making from TikTok? I'd love for you to give me a $. Extra income could be an extra $1,000 or $5 a month, so you just never know when people use those vague, ambiguous terms like extra income. You just don't know. So
Be paid for, but I feel like I am skating on such thin ice financially all the time. I am like,
and it's so exciting that I just want to post it on TikTok. Like, you see this like undertone of like almost like they're like that their world is fucked up. You see this, like, it's like almost to the point where like, oh, this is like like, yeah, girl, like I just shot till I dropped, so I got $50,000 of credit card debt, but we're working on it. Like it's like some sort of accomplishment, racking up debt. That's the way these people are talking. Do you guys not hear that same thing too? That's the way they're talking.
an eternally optimistic person,
Yeah,
so I
too
will always
optimistic.
try to see the positive in a situation. But I just want to vent for a second about how tiring it is constantly walking on a knife's edge with my debt. I have a few things going in my favor, and while I do owe
Oh my gosh. Her voice.
my federal taxes, I am getting a bit of a state refund, so I'll like net out zero there. But I still have to pay all that money up front, which means I need to drain my savings account of all the money I set aside for Paris. I did a video recently about like my
What the hell are you about to go to? Why do you don't deserve to go to Paris? Where you deserve to be is locked in your work home, rice beans, no thing else. And as Dave Ramsey would say, sell the car.
wish list, and it's really starting to look like I'm not going to be able to buy a single thing on it. I would give anything for just the slightest bit of wiggle room in my budget because it is exhausting constantly having to think
Bro, I
about
swear, any guy like that really like marries these chicks and then just like all these chicks are just spending their money, bro. Like, shame on you, bro. End of the day, it really all falls back on the guy because guys are the ones that lead, bro. At the end of the day, even grown women like this girl, they're just children at the end of the day. Like, that's what you learn to realize. And I don't mean to talk down. I'm not misogynist, all this crap. But like, look at this shit. The proof is in the pudding itself. I'm not making nothing up. They're acting like grown little kids. They're acting like little kids. Not even grown little kids. They're acting like little kids. And it's like they, after a certain age with women, I'd say around like 16, 17 years old, they don't ever grow up. Like, why is that?
well, if I buy this, can I afford this? If I buy this, can I afford this? And I understand that I am like extremely privileged with my career and my ability to pay down debt, and that there are people who are extremely less fortunate than I am. So I'm not minimizing their situation in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that like it's hard. It's frigging hard. My one saving grace is that the Paris trip is already paid for. I paid for that months ago, so I don't need to worry about how I'm going to afford to pay for the trip itself. I just need to worry about food and things like that, like money for activities, etc. So I do kind of want to like check.
Yeah, she's the type of girl who's gonna post all these Instagram photos and shit in Paris and be something like she really got it like that when she's just drowning in debt. So that's another thing, y'all. Don't believe that shit you be seeing on the gram, yo. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, dog? Don't believe that
myself and
shit.
remind myself that I'm incredibly privileged to be able to do this, and I want to like, who cares if I can't?
All right, shut up, bro.
Opening me up to that, and yeah, I'm just a bit nervous about it, but I'm gonna share it anyways so people have better understanding of my background, why I am the way that I am about money. So I filed bankruptcy in November of 2018. I think it stays on my record for another 2 years, which is why I'm kind of like, whatever, like I'll just talk about it now because it's gonna pass soon. But yeah, so basically what happened is, I won't get into the whole long story, but I ended up racking up $25,000 worth of like credit card and line of credit debt. I didn't have the proper education on money and on budgeting. And when I was able to get a credit card and have credit, I used it. The way it worked for me is I met with a debt person. I showed them all my debts, basically signed over everything to them, and I ended up paying, I think it depends on your income and depends on your debt. I don't know exactly how it works. I honestly forget. I ended up paying like $180 a month for 9 months, and then my debt was cleared. Didn't include my car because I never missed a car payment, and I didn't include my student loan because it was too new, and if it was like within 5 years, your student loan had to be more than 5 years old, I think. I know that people are probably going to ask about that, like, why didn't I lose my car? I want to get rid of it, and it's obviously very hard to get a car and get a new loan with a bankruptcy on your record. So this is why I am so like budget conscious, and I really do try and spend responsibly as best I can, and why I'm kind of like uptight about money and like everything needs to be perfect. Plus the fact that I live by myself and I'm the only person that pays the bills, like it only falls back on me. I don't have anything else to rely on, so that is why I am the way I am about that. And while yes, you can say, why would you listen to my input, like I'm in debt or I filed bankruptcy, but like that's more reason to listen to me because I've gone through it. And so my purpose is to like help other people not have to go through it too. Anyways, let me know if you have any other questions. I feel like this just gives you some context and lets you know that I'm a human being. And I've made mistakes. I've definitely learned from them. I feel like the debt I have now is definitely not a mistake. It's more out of necessity. But yeah. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions.
Well, she
Here's
was bearable.
how I finally came clean to my husband about the amount of credit card debt I had racked up. So rewind about 3 years ago, and we were in a situation where my daughter, who was a competitive figure skater at the time, was having to travel to different competitions and traveling places where we were really going to need to fly instead of drive. And so I decided that it would be a good idea at that time to obtain 2 credit cards from 2 different airlines so that we could use the points that we would be able to gain from those credit cards, like the rewards programs, to fly. So that way we wouldn't have to pay to fly to these competitions that we had to go to. In theory, it sounded like a great idea, right? We get the credit card, I use it to make the minimum amount of purchases needed to get the reward points, and then I pay it off. But it didn't really work out that way. Instead, I wound up finding myself putting things on those credit cards that really had no business being purchased. And so eventually the balances just started to rack up.
Let's hear what the balances were.
And up and up. My husband knew about these credit cards, but he just assumed that I wasn't really using them for purchases, so he never really asked much about them. Until one day he started noticing like things would start showing up at the house that he knew weren't on the credit card that we normally use, and he didn't see any charges coming out of our account. So he finally started asking, hey, what did you use to buy this? That's when I had to tell him, well, I have been using those 2 credit cards that I got a couple of years ago. But I never...
Bro, this is marriage. Your wife spending frivolously for 2 years and not even like letting you in on it. But when shit gets hard and gets tough, she's gonna expect you to help get her out of the hole that she dug. Yeah, bro, not a chance. And then she goes on TikTok to tell the story. Yeah, bro, that unbelievable.
I told him how much was on them. Until recently, I was too scared to tell him. I was worried he was going to be angry. I was worried, honestly, I thought he may even decide to leave me. I was that.
Damn, you just a dumbass. You just is a dumbass, bro. This is why I really can't stand a lot of women. For this shit right here. Like, it's why you just want to, just sneaky. Just sneaky. I don't rock with it at all.
Worried. But I got the courage to finally come clean and tell him everything once I came
might as
up
well
with
tell,
a plan.
Might as well tell us too.
My plan was basically I'm going to pay these off using my overtime pay and also by figuring out a way to make additional money.
Man, your dumb ass ain't gonna make no damn money online. You was not smart enough to do that. Cause based on what I just heard this past minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, you was definitely not smart enough to do that. So keep dreaming.
Once I had a plan in place, I finally just told him. He asked me one day. It wasn't anything planned. He just simply asked me. He said, "How much do you have on your credit cards?" And because I knew I had a plan in place and because I had finally decided to dive into digital marketing.
Oh, I thought she was going to say because I finally started making money with digital marketing. But no, she just dived in. She's not smart enough to fucking make money online.
And I was hopeful for the first time in many years. I finally could tell him the truth. And guess what? He didn't leave. He's still here. And we have a plan.
Nigga, it should be on your ass, bro. There's no we in this. We didn't spend all that money on the credit cards. You spent all that money on the credit cards. So it sounds like your husband's a little beta buck.
If you're a mama and you have credit card debt that maybe you haven't told your husband about, give me a follow. Reach out to me. I'd love to help you through your journey. If you have any questions on how to make money online, I'm getting started with making money online.
I can't do this,
Go ahead
bro.
and click the link at the top of my page.
Yeah,
I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, no. Why would anyone ever listen to you and take advice from you? You literally just explained for the last 2 minutes as to why you're unqualified to, one, know how to make money online because your IQ is obviously below average. Two, ultimately, you also disqualified yourself on how on regards of actually like cleaning up your financial situation, which you did with some just stupid shit. Why would anyone listen to you? This is what I'm talking about with like when I say like women really don't help other women. Like they really don't. If anything, women really drag a lot of other women down. Like if women really look up and watch dumbasses like this, they got another thing coming from them. And she is an absolute dumbass. Dumbass. Wait, one more time. Dumbass. Alright. Well. Got that out. Man. These fucking chicks, man. Man. I'm really out of words, but one thing I do owe you guys is that the average household has about $5,000 to $7,000 in credit card debt. That's about what? Yeah, about $5,000 to $7,000 is the average for per household. So, yeah, if you guys are new here, man, might as well hit that subscribe button, and also do not find her and follow her on TikTok because she will just lead you down the wrong path. Like she just looks dumb. She is dumb and looks dumb.